awesome. Okay, so thank you, Margaret. Absolutely wonderful. So grateful you said yes to being part of this retreat. Thank you. Next up we have Sharon Loduca. She hails out of Ontario, Canada right now. She's going to talk to us a little bit about unlocking your unique self. Sharon cannot be with us today because it is Canadian Thanksgiving and she is hosting her family or being part of what they're celebrating right now. So we are going to play a pre-recorded video of Sharon presenting her Unlock Your Unique Self video. So let me just quickly introduce her before I play that video for you. Meet Sharon, an unstoppable force of nature, soon to be two-time author, and I'm going to say two-time best-selling author, and a dedicated mom. She cherishes life by bonding with her 3 kids, a couple of crazy cats, and of course, Chase the Chihuahua. Sharon's passion for hiking, food, photography, and her writing shines through. But there's more to her. She's a seasoned realtor, SRES specialist, and mortgage specialist, skilled at turning your home dreams into reality. Her secret? Building genuine relationships and understanding her clients' needs. Sharon's achievements in real estate have earned her numerous well-deserved awards. Whether hiking trails or selling homes, Sharon has a knack for turning daily life and business into adventures. So please help me welcome Sharon Loduca. And yay, I know. Thank you. Yay, Sharon.
You know, we are now living in an era where identity is everything. But it wasn't always like that, was it? I grew up in an era of 1, be seen and not heard, 2, do as you're told, and 3, doctors, teachers, and ministers were never wrong. So having a voice is not something I necessarily understood very well. What I did understand well was compliance and confirmation, because really that was all that really mattered. Why? Mainly it's because I lived in a small town, and in a small town it would make your parents look bad, and that wouldn't be good for me when I got back home. But truly by default, it's also what made you acceptable to others. It's what made you successful in other people's eyes, and it's what made you a likable person to others. Now, I can say that this really doesn't seem to matter much as a wee kid, of course. After all, I lived in a place where it was a life of no rush hour, no crime, and not only did we know our neighbors, we kind of knew all about them as well. And we knew the whole town, but that social structure of conformity and compliance, what was a given, it was expected, it was understood, it just was. It was there, it overhung everything we did. But I have to tell you, when my brother, who was just 1.5 years older than me, had an accidental death, I went from being happy, sing out loud, singing out a tune to the top of my lungs, a creative, imaginative, storytelling kid, to a very withdrawn kid filled with anxiety and stress, anger, grief, disassociation, constant temper tantrums. I became a very moody child. Now, I know today we understand grief a lot better overall. And for sure, we understand how grief affects kids today, especially in the more recent years. But it wasn't really like that 50 plus years ago. And I ultimately became the troubled kid. I was the kid that got into trouble at school. I got into trouble at church. Life was just plain troubling. On top of that, I didn't know how to connect with people. I didn't know how to find my voice. I didn't understand or be able to express what I was going through. But even though I couldn't express or understand, and a little side note, even back then as a young kid, I discovered a world of fantastic expression. When I took pen to paper, magic happened. I was even published in a few magazines at a very young age. So I can tell you, I really tried. I tried to do the right things. I tried to do what was expected of me. I tried to be good. In fact, I tried to be better. Than what was expected. I tried to be truly successful at whatever I did. I can tell you, I dedicated myself to studying to be the best. My grades were the best. I worked long hours. I worked hard to be the best. Now, just to give you an idea of the insanity of striving to know everything and to do everything well. And the key is striving. I have licenses and certificates for a few things. For example, like as a web developer, as a programmer, as a business manager, as a certified chaplain, as a counselor, as an ordained minister, as a mortgage agent, life insurance, and a realtor. And I think that's pretty much most of it. Now, do we need really all of that to do life? No, 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 absolutely not. We don't need that to do life. But you see, what I want you to understand is that even then I was just searching. And do you know what I was really searching for, what I was looking for? I was looking for me. I was simply trying to find out who Sharon was. And in the truest sense, I suppose, I was literally just trying to educate myself. I strived to live the way I felt was expected of me. And that put me under tremendous pressure, unrelenting stress. And what happened ultimately is that performance robbed me of knowing me. It robbed me of enjoying my journey. It robbed me of finding the things that made me tick, made me smile, that made me want to get up in the morning. Now, going on in life after a few more tragic events and a number of severe mental and emotional breakdowns, and being medicated to cope with daily life, I came to a place where I began to challenge absolutely everything I knew. I began to challenge everything that I believed. I began to challenge why I believed it. And how was it serving my life now at this time? Over the course of a number of years, I began a journey of intentionally changing the trajectory of my life's path. Now, you need to understand, I didn't have it together too well. At that point of making that decision for change, I was a widow, raising 3 very small children. I was heavily medicated. I was under close doctor supervision. I would sit in a chair all day just staring out the window. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't sleeping well. I just wasn't doing life well. Severe anxiety, deep depression, it took over my life. And I had to make the decision to change. And it looked like this. My first decision to begin change was to get out of bed and to make my bed in the morning. And I did it, and I kept doing it until I conquered it. In the meantime, after I made the bed, I lay back down on top of a freshly made up bed and I went back to sleep. But once I conquered getting up and making the bed every morning, I was ready for decision 2. Decision 2 was to get up and make my bed and to boil an egg for breakfast. I did that. I got up, I made my bed. I had my boiled egg. I ate it too. And for a while, I went back to bed on top of the freshly made bed and went to sleep. Once I conquered it, I made decision number 3. Decided to get up and make my bed, to have that boiled egg for breakfast. And then my third decision was to get dressed for the day. And I did. And you know what I did for a while? Up, fed, dressed. I went back, lay on the bed, back to sleep. But ultimately, there came a time when there were 3 solid decisions that were working for me. 3 decisions in a row that worked. I was on a roll. I'd initiated change in my life. Were they small changes? Oh yeah, absolutely. They were small changes. But the key is I did something, and that's what mattered. By doing something, I started to take control of my life rather than letting life control me. I started to define who I was rather than letting life define me. I was tired of life telling me who I was. I remember a day having a chat with my doctor in her office, and in that week, I had learned that I enjoyed Coke Zero. I'd also learned that I did not like Diet Pepsi. Here's a grown mom of 3. And I mean, really, who cares? What does Coke Zero or Diet Pepsi have to do with the grand scheme of life? Well, you know what? I'm really glad you asked me, because for me, it was absolutely revolutionary. I learned something about myself. I learned that I could get to own what I like and deal with what I didn't like. I mean, really, I never consciously knew that I had a choice. You know, if food was put in front of me, I didn't get the option of deciding if I liked it. Not eating it was definitely not an option. Here's your food, eat. And you look at these things and they're so profoundly simple. But the reason I'm sharing these seemingly rather simple, mundane, irrelevant, everyday things is to show you where I was in life. In depression, in despondency, withdrawn, broken. Still not having a voice, and still, in fact, not knowing who I was, what I liked or what I didn't like. I was stuck. The pit was deep, it was dark. It is so very, very dark. And alone. But I can tell you something today, I can gladly shout from the mountaintops. That's not who I am today. I love life. I embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. Every single day I get up, I show up for life. I pay attention to what I'm thinking. I pay attention to what I choose to believe. And I continue every day to consciously improve on healthier life choices. That way, it's me. I get to decide today what will be a good day for me. And I begin to walk in it. I begin to own it. And that is why I'm so passionate about being a part of Transformation Triumphs. It's all about the journey of the transformation that happens when mainly we begin to peel away the layers one at a time, the layers of being told who we are. And as we peel back those layers, we get to walk into who we discover ourselves to be. It's a transformation that begins on the inside. It's an inside job, but it reflects on the outside. It reflects in our contentment. It reflects toward our family and our friends and our business and our social circles. See, this transformation is really about trading conformity for authenticity. There's only one you got to claim it. We're trading depression for joy. It's about trading stress for contentment. The pressure's there. We handle it differently. It trades being overwhelmed for a mind that is sharp and focused. Transformation is about trading foggy mind for creativity. It's about trading anxiety for rest and peace. Realizing that you haven't yet set good, healthy boundaries, or in many cases, you've not set any boundaries at all. But if you haven't set good, healthy boundaries for you, you don't know who you are. And you won't know how to set those boundaries. This one thing alone, it's worth finding out who you really are. You know, for me, I found me. I know me, and I love me. And I am passionate about challenging others to find their best authentic self. Yeah, maybe a little too passionate sometimes. I get it. But I so personally know what joy and peace and wisdom lies ahead for those brave enough to go on this journey. I gotta tell you, from the depths of my heart, it is so worth it. I challenge you to start right now where you are, in whatever pieces or puddles you're in, whatever valleys or mountains you're at, whatever hills are in front of you. Take the first step. And of course, buy the book, Transformation Triumph, to read the rest of my journey into embracing my uniqueness and finding my authentic self. I can't tell you enough how much I wish for you to go on this journey. I wish you well on this journey. Transformation is something that begins with a decision by us that where I am today is not where I want to be tomorrow. Or maybe I want to be here, but in a better format. Maybe I need to grasp something. Maybe there's something that's challenging my life. There are setbacks that are happening. And I can tell you that I'm walking, living evidence that anything can happen in your life. I'm constantly surprised that as we begin the journey and we open that door, what more happens? The next door that opens is like we have put it out in the universe, and we have spoken to the universe, and we have given it permission to line up things and people and places in our life, to line us up with a different set of circumstances, to line us up with people that will spur us on, that will encourage us, and to line us up with people that we need to encourage and we need to pour into, and we need to be a source of strength and wisdom for them. Transformation is something that takes your life on a journey that is sweet and tender and breathtaking and encouraging, and maybe at times unbelievable. The journey is challenging, but it's so worthwhile. And right here, I'm going to stop and say thank you so much for taking time to listen to me, to let me share my heart with you. I encourage you to get a copy of your book. You can reach out to me, Shar at SharonLoduca.com, or on the website, SharonLoduca.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm here. I'd be glad to talk with you, be glad to share with you, be glad to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to me. Take care and enjoy your journey.